Prehistoric Kingdom Update 17 PTB was recently launched, with combat now allowing theropods to eat what they kill. It might be possible to create a self-sustaining ecosystem. This video is me sharing the results of this test, how I went about this test, and other random observations I made while testing this unofficially supported mode. The developers of the game stated they didn't balance the game for an ecosystem, and if an ecosystem works, it's purely by accident. Even the developers themselves are curious about how well it would work, so I immediately got to work. I had a very specific plan. I was going to simulate the Morrison Formation. I chose this formation because I wanted habitat requirements to be a factor, meaning all animals have the same biome, plant percentage, and water requirements. Plus, the Morrison has the most dinosaurs. When the full release for Update 17 comes out, we'll also get Allosaurus, and I believe Diplodocus is still coming in the future. I picked the desert map and fenced off half of the map using the no fence. Then I surrounded it with mountains, creating a rectangular crater. I then added more giant rocks on top of the mountains as extra security to prevent the animals from escaping. This isn't meant to be a zoo or anything, but I do want the animals to remain inside this crater. It just makes it easier to track. I started creating the habitat inside, filling it with plants and water. My goal is to give the animals access to plants and water without too big of a dead zone. It's just enough to meet the minimum requirements set by the game. So this is what I did. All Morrison Formation animals only, so we have 3 species of Camarasaurus, 2 species of Stegosaurus, 1 species of Brachiosaurus, Dryosaurus, Brontosaurus, Apatosaurus, and Torvosaurus. Torvosaurus gurnii is from Europe and has different habitat requirements. Utah State paleontologist Jim Kirkland said it's unlikely all the different species lived at the same time. He's probably right, but I don't have many choices available. Plus, some of the species have unique skins, and I wanted a little more color in my ecosystem. I tried to keep a realistic predator-prey ratio. Basically, herbivores greatly outnumber predators. Animal welfare enabled, death and combat enabled, diseases and poop disabled. There's no way to recover from diseases without vets. No guests, no feeders, no staff. All herbivores must survive on plants from the game. Carnivores must hunt herbivores for food. All prehistoric plants. I built nests all around the map for breeding, so I am not allowed to replenish the population using the nursery outside of starting the game. All animals start with a mixture of adults, teens, and babies to try to mimic a real ecosystem. I started with 276 animals. I didn't factor in the game's social requirements. I just made it so animals can breed. I put no thought into their starting position other than putting the Dryosaurs near the cave I built, and also tried to spread the Torvosaurus out. Yes, I built a little cave for small animals to hide. I doubt the AI is smart enough to use it, but I did put some plants in there, hoping they might accidentally wander in looking for food. Once everything was set, I started the game. I lost an animal within 1 minute and was down to 270 within 5 minutes. It's hard to capture all the action, so I hope you can enjoy some chilled pseudo-dinosaur documentary footage. I spotted this big Torvosaurus named Johanna with a very nice shade of red. My dinosaurs also got pregnant pretty quickly. There were 5 pregnancies within 15 to 20 minutes, but I was also down to 266 animals. I noticed my Stegosaurus population getting slaughtered. I'm now down to 260. Then hatchlings hatched, bringing the population up to 262. Before I could finish writing my notes, 2 animals died, and I'm back to 260. More time passed, and my animals dropped to 252. I'm beginning to worry I might have too many Torvosaurus in this environment. I captured footage of some interesting behavior, footage of behavior that could pass for a documentary, but it's all behavior generated by the game. I had babies that were on the verge of death, near-death escapes, and even an unlikely rescue. There were genuine moments where I sat there for 10 minutes watching this dinosaur, wondering if it'll survive. There is real drama in there. I'm going to be turning those into mini documentary dramas. It drives me nuts knowing there could be other scenarios playing out and wasn't there to witness them. Don't get me wrong, this is by no means an accurate depiction of the Morrison Formation. It's missing a lot of animals. As an ecosystem, the animal sizes are very unbalanced. There are too many giants and not enough small herbivores and carnivores. I'm just pretending the babies are filling in the different niches, even though they eat the same food as the adults. But at least the small babies can give the baby Torvosaurus a fighting chance. Hey, what are you doing? I said niche partitioning, not attack an adult Camarasaurus. It's also weird that the predators hunt but don't eat their kill. This is mostly unrealistic. I imagine it'll continue to be tweaked by the developers. However, I do think this has the advantage of providing the young Torvosaurus with some food. I saw a bunch of babies gather around a dead adult Camarasaurus having a feast. This reminds me of a whale fall, where a whale carcass fed a community of fish after it died. It's not controversial to say the same would happen when a sauropod dies. This is what also makes this simulation interesting. There's stuff in here that's just close enough to the real world that you'd believe you're watching living animals. A little more time passed, and I'm down to 238 animals. I was getting a little worried. I know herbivores will probably survive because plants are infinite. I was concerned about my population dying to the point where they can't reproduce. They're not trying to revive a dark god, so siblings, and as I recall, first cousins can't reproduce. At that point, your population is as good as extinct. After around 3 hours, I'm down to 231 animals. I went to check on my Stegosaurus population, and it actually wasn't doing so bad. My animals are mating and giving birth, but the population just can't seem to grow. Then I remembered I forgot to check on my Dryosaurus. It looks like their population declined a lot. I purposely made more Dryosaurs because they are small dinosaurs. Small animals are supposed to be the most plentiful. I knew the AI wasn't smart enough to use the little cave to hide, but it was the thought that counts. Yes, I tested that cave. It was big enough for an adult Dryosaurus to go in and out. I do have another idea for a bigger cave, but that'll be for a different playthrough. When I looked at the game after writing some notes, I noticed my population went up to 238. That's the first time I've seen growth. I had some housework, so I decided to say screw it and let the game run while I go do my chores, then come back and see how things are going. When I came back, I saw that my population had grown a little more. I have 243 animals now. This is a good sign. This is a dramatic increase from 231 animals. I actually came up with an idea to do a fake documentary while doing housework, so I'm also holding back some cool scenes I witnessed. I love the detail of the scars. When I look at these scars, it occurs to me that this Stegosaurus has been through some tough fights. These are events that I couldn't see, but these scars are proof that it happened. Not only are they details, but they tell a story. I don't know if the devs realize this has become a tool for storytelling as well. More time passed, and as I was recording some scenery footage, I checked back at my population and noticed my numbers had skyrocketed. I now have over 260 animals living here. I was thrilled. The lowest number I saw was around 231 animals, and I was getting a little nervous. Now my population has stabilized around 255 to 260-ish animals, and then it happened. I hit my highest population numbers at 281 animals. I started with 276. I had surpassed my starting populations. This is my first sign that it was a success. I decided to run the game longer to see how long it can maintain these numbers and go higher. After 4 or 5 hours, I decided to go to dinner and left my game running. When I got back, I had 290 animals. My population has been steady and growing for around 2 hours now. The progress is slow, but steady. Sometimes a few will die and drop back down to around 285 animals, but it continues to grow. The fact that my population rebounded from 231 to 290 was proof that an ecosystem sim can work. However, I admit my method has flaws. My method doesn't prove that animals in incompatible environments can survive. Honestly, I don't even know what happens to animals when they're in incompatible environments. I think their welfare bar isn't maxed or something. I always keep my zoo in tip-top condition, even before animal deaths were implemented. My next test will be mixing animals in incompatible environments. Also, I don't know how much luck is a factor in this test. I almost lost 5 or 6 baby Torvosaurs early in the game, but they survived, so there was definitely some luck involved. As of right now, with the parameters I set, an ecosystem is viable. I had a blast just looking at my animals and watching them live their lives. For folks who spent hours watching Site B in Jurassic Park Operation Genesis, this might be what you need. So hopefully, this video can give people who haven't bought into the early access an idea of what this game is capable of at this stage of development. It's closing time for the Dinosaur Arcade. I'll see you next time.